So yeah. So I think we should start now.
Yes, good to go.
Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting Expert Edge Masterclass presented by Shine.com. We are delighted to have with us Anmol Lohia, a renowned Power BI expert and data visualization trainer. With over 15 years of experience, Anmol has worked with global organizations, delivering impactful training sessions and empowering professionals to transfer raw data into actionable insights. Recognized as a national faculty at ICAI, Anmol has trained 10,000 plus professionals on Power BI, MS Excel, and AI driven automation. Anmol, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me here. And I'm so excited to have all of you guys here. And I think it'll be a great learning for all of us.
Yeah. So, Anmol, I think we can start.
Sure. All right. So, very good evening to all of you. My name is Anmol Lohia, and thank you for the wonderful introduction, Preeti. Um, So today what we are going to do is regarding Power BI. Now all of us have seen really amazing dashboards built, and we've seen really, impactful, interactive, visually good looking dashboards built, throughout. It's there throughout LinkedIn. But what we don't see is what goes in the background to actually get the data ready for making those visualizations. Whatever visuals and whatever dashboards you see, no, they are just 35% of the work, but the actual work that happens in the background of Power BI. So today what we are going to do is we are going to take a case study, and we are going to cover all the non-negotiables which one should know while working with Power BI, right? So it's a 1 hour session. I want to cover the most important non-negotiables. So what I want from you guys is stay tuned and observe and understand what's going on, right? And take notes, right? Because uh, I think once you have this clarity that you do a complete loop of taking a case study and converting that into a dashboard, like we are going to do in the next 1 hour, in a very very simple way, but more but a very effective way, it'll be easier for you wherever you are. Let's say you want to go for an interview. This is a ready reference that these are the minimum non-negotiables you should have. Because as a person who's hiring, they don't want you to know everything. They just want your foundation to be strong, and then so that they can build on it, right? So that's the kind of class which we are going to have today. That's the kind of workshop which we are going to have today. And without much ado, let's get started. So let me share my screen. All right. I hope you guys are able to see the screen. Great. All right. So the first step in any kind of, you're not able to see the screen yet?
It's visible.
It's visible. Okay. All right. So in any kind of activity which is related to data, the first step is to understand what your data is trying to tell you. Okay. So here we have a sales register. We have a sales data. So if you see the first sheet, if you see the first sheet, this is the sales register. Okay. Now here we have multiple columns like order number, the date on which the sale was made, the product ID, customer ID, who is the salesperson who sold it, the quantity, the discount given, the city in which the sale was made. This is called as a fact table. Now, what is a fact table? A fact table is a table where transactions are recorded. Here, if you see, all the sale transaction of the company are recorded, right? So you'll have the same product sold to multiple customers buying the same product. All of those kind of combinations are present in fact tables like this one, sales register. Next up, we have the salesperson data. So you have the salesperson ID. Okay, this is the ID, and this is the name on the employee ID. Now, if you see, the data is not clean, and generally in real life, the data is never clean, right? So we'll see how to clean them.
Anmol,
Yes,
sorry to disturb you. Can you please zoom it because many people are not able to see it clearly?
I hope it's clear now.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
So if you see, this is the salesperson, and the data is not clean, and in real life, seldom the data is clean, right? So we will understand how we can clean this to make it resonate with my other data points. We have the different zones. You have the north region, which has Delhi, Lucknow, Chandigarh, Jaipur, etc., etc. And this is also not clean. Similarly, we have customers. These are all the customers which we have. These are the different segments in which the company deals with. These are the different products the company deals with. Now, something very important to note here. In the sales register, you have the product ID. In the product data, you have the product ID as well. These are the common columns which will help you merge your data, right? And these are very important concepts to understand while learning Power BI, right? So similarly, you have customer ID, which links up with the customer data, salesperson ID, which links up with the salesperson data. Then you have quantity here, right? You have quantity here, but you don't have the price of the product. You don't have the cost of the product. That is all available in the products data, right? So this is how my data is structured. It is not really it's not structured very well. So we'll have to clean them. We'll have to move forward with understanding, how we can best utilize whatever resources we have, right? Now I've opened the Power BI desktop, right? This is the Power BI desktop. It is freely downloadable from the Microsoft Store. Unfortunately, Mac users don't have Power BI access. So now Power BI has multiple facets to it. Power BI has a backend to it. Power BI's backend is called as Power Query, right? And how do you access the Power Query? Power Query is here. Under the Home tab, you have the transform data. This is the place where all the data cleaning happens, right? I'll click on transform data. For Excel users, if you have ever used Power Query there, it's the same interface here as well, right? Now, this is the Power Query editor. Now, we will have to import whatever data was there in Excel here. We will import it into Power Query. So first up, I will close this Excel sheet and I'll click on don't save. It is saved right here. I will copy the address of the place. And now under the Home tab, I have new source. That means the source from which I want to get the data from. So I will click on new source. I will click on Excel workbook here. Let's click on that because I want to get data from the Excel workbook. This is the address where my data is, and the sales data is what we are talking about. So this is how you pull in data into Power Query from Excel. Now please note, once I press open, I will get a navigator tab here. This navigator tab helps us select what all tables we want to import. That means we have multiple sheets in the data. What all sheets do we want? It has identified two things. One is the tables, and the second thing is the entire sheet. So because we have tables, we can easily select the tables. So I'm going to select all of these tables. These are the same tables or same sheets which we saw in the Excel, right? Once I click on OK, the Power Query editor imports all the data from the Excel into Power Query here, right? Now, if you have a look at Power Query, it is really, really powerful, like the name suggests. So if you see new source, you have multiple sources from which you can import your data. Let's click on more and see what are the kind of sources which are there. You have all the different kinds of sources here. You can even import data from an image or a PDF here. You can import it from JSON files, from SQL servers, Azure servers, anywhere. So you have a lot of data connectors here, which makes it a very powerful tool because let's say your data is stored in SQL. Let's say it's an ERP. Using SQL queries, you're pulling out the data. And using that SQL, you can pull it back into Power Query. What happens is real-time updation of data is possible using Power Query. right? And Power Query also serves as an automatic automation tool for data cleaning. So whatever data cleaning you do, you have to do it once. And if the data is in the same format in the future, it keeps getting cleaned in the same format again and again by itself without your intervention. And that automation makes it becomes very important in the long run, right? It's a very scalable tool basically. Now, once I've imported the data, let's quickly understand the interface here. We have the home tab, transform, we have multiple tabs here. Under each tab, we have multiple functions. For example, if you want to manage columns, there is a manage columns option here. And these are the different columns here, right? Let me quickly zoom into this so that it's more easier. Now, similarly, you have for rows. Similarly, for transformation of data, you have multiple functions. So all of them are grouped together, right? Now, let's quickly rearrange the data in the way we want. Let's take the sales register and place it on the top. And so you have sales register on top, which is the fact table, and all the others, we'll understand what these tables are. These are called as dimension tables. I'll tell you why a little later on. So let's come to sales register. This is the same sales register which we have seen earlier. Now, sales register is something which we don't clean, right? Sales register is something which we don't clean unless and until there are some columns which we don't require. There are some rows which are redundant, right? Other than that, a fact table is not generally cleaned in Power Query. Okay. Now, let's go to customer. Now, this is the customer data which has been pulled from the ERP of the customer, let's say. Should there be duplicates in the customers? Like, let's say if the customer is Anmol Lohia, should there be the same Anmol Lohia twice? No, right? And if you have a look at this customer ID and customer name, there are a total of 135 customers. And how do I know this? Under the view tab, I have two things set. One is column quality, which tells me the quality of the column, and the column distribution, which tells me how many distinct and how many unique values are there. Now, who can tell me what is the difference between distinct and unique? Anybody, any idea? What is the difference between distinct and unique? Anybody in the chat box? Distinct means no duplicate, okay? Distinct is total and unique is only once, okay? Great. All right, let me give you a very small example about distinct and unique, okay? So let's say there is a fruit vendor and he has a fruit basket, okay? And in that fruit basket, he has three apples. Please listen very, very carefully. In the fruit basket, the fruit vendor has three apples, two oranges, and one banana. How many total fruits does he have? How many total fruits does he have? Three apples, two oranges, one banana. 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6. Okay. So there are six total. How many distinct fruits does he have? How many distinct fruits does he have? Three. Very good. How three? Apple, orange, and banana. And how many unique fruits does he have? He has only one banana, so that one banana is unique. So he has only one unique fruit. I hope you understand the difference between total number, distinct, and unique. You understand this? You want another example? A quick one? Okay. So let's say here we have Preeti, right? Now, Preeti, after attending the session, she's an expert in Power BI and she's earned a lot of money. Okay. And yes. And now, what she's done with this money is she's created a clone of herself. So there is Preeti 1 and Preeti 2. Preeti 2 is nothing but the clone of Preeti. Now, we have total of 182 people in the class. Okay. We have a lot of viewers. In the Zoom meeting, we have around 200. So 182 of us, we met for a reunion in a hall. Okay. So what happened was, Pre- all of us came single, but Preeti came with her clone. So how many total people came in the reunion? 182, all of us plus Preeti's clone. So total how many? Total number of people is 183, right? Okay. How many distinct people came to the reunion? 182 distinct people came to the reunion. Very good. That is 181 plus Preeti, right? And how many unique people came to the reunion? Preeti is not unique anymore. Preeti is not unique. All of us are unique because all of us are one in number. So 181 is unique. I hope you get the point now. This is an extremely important concept because you understand data quality based on these concepts. I hope it's clear. Clear, everyone? Amazing, amazing. All right. Now that we have that cleared, tell me something. Are there duplicate customers here? Do we have duplicate customers? Tell me, guys. Are there any customers where there are duplicates? No, because the distinct and the unique count is same. So we don't have any duplicates. So we are good to go with the customer data. Okay. We are good to go with the customer data. Let's move to the product data. Let's move to the product. Okay. Now, the problem here is we cannot, can you see these lines, these bar chart type of a thing? We are not getting that in the product name and we are not getting that in the product category. The reason is the data category for this is not set. So whenever you get any data, no, make sure your data type is always set. What is data type, sir? So have a look at this area. Near the product ID, you see ABC. ABC is nothing but text, right? Similarly, product name is set at any product type. Okay, product name is set at any. ABC 1 to 3 means any. Okay, so we need to convert that into text so that it becomes ABC, right? And the same thing we need to do with product category text. And now Power Query is a little slow in loading. So what we'll do is we have a hack for that. We will go to customer and we'll come back to product. And now it is loaded. Great. So it's very important for us to always make sure the data type is checked, right? A text should be in text format, a number should be in number format, a date should be in date format. Simple, right? Great. So this is a unique customer list. All the customers where there are duplicates are here. If a customer purchases 10 times, the name of the customer will appear 10 times in the sales register. And that's why it's called a transaction table or a fact table. Whereas this customer data, here only the unique customers are present, and that's what makes it a dimension table. And similarly, in the sales register, we'll have all the products multiple times because one product would be sold multiple times to same customers or different customers, right? But in the product table, since this is a dimension table, this is the product register which we extract from the ERP of the customer, of the client, right? This should contain only unique products. Is this clear? There should be no duplication in the product names. I hope you guys are getting where it's coming from, right? All right. So there should be, so we have established that the product data should not have any duplicates. That's established, right? So tell me something. Are there duplicates in the product ID? There are no duplicates because we have 247 distinct and 247 unique. Great. But tell me something now. Are there duplicates in the product names? Yes, there are duplicates. So, do we just directly remove the duplicates or do we first check if there are actual duplicates or is there some issue? Do we have to check? We have to check, right? Before removing anything. So, what do we do for that? We can select the product name column. We can go to Home tab. Under the Home tab, can you see Keep Rows? Under keep rows, you have keep duplicates, right? What keep duplicates will do is it will only show you the duplicates. It will only filter out the duplicates and show you that. Okay. So under the home tab, keep rows, keep duplicates. Great. And now I will just quickly sort it ascending also. Now you see what's happening here. Tell me if their actual duplicates can be removed or cannot be removed. Just have a look quickly. Archery bow, archery, 250 cost, price 499. But what happened was a person who was sitting, a person who was sitting, he just duplicated it by putting another product ID. He didn't know that archery bow already exists. So first, there was a one person who did P183 archery bow, and then there was another person who didn't know that archery bow existed because he didn't check, and they got another product ID for this P216 for archery bow, right? So this can be removed, guys. This can be removed because even though the IDs are different, the product is absolutely same, and even the pricing is the same. Just have a look. Because everything else is same, the product ID is different because it's a manual error. Fair enough? Huh. All right. Now, now, how do I go back to the original step where my original data comes in, right? How do I do the control Z, all the Excel users? You do control Z, right, to undo something. How do I undo the step so that I can see the original data again? Under the view tab, under the view tab, I have something called as query settings. In this query settings, can you see kept duplicates and sorted rows are coming here? I will just remove them and my original data is here. So basically what is the objective of this query settings? Anything which you do in Power Query gets recorded as a step here. And if you want to undo it, you can just click on this cross button here. And this is where the automation is happening because it's recording every step which you're doing. It works like an Excel macro, all the Excel users, right? All right. So I can easily go ahead and remove duplicates and there's something empty here. So I can filter the empty out. Great. The empty is filtered. Everything looks good. I don't have duplicates in the product data as well. Salesperson, the salesperson ID in the sales register is just 1 2 3 4 5. It's normal numerical. The data type is also a numerical, but here it is not that case. So I will right click, split column, and can you see SP001? SP is a non-digit, 001 is a digit. So right click, split column, and I will split it by non-digit to digit. And this gets split. The first column is no use. I will right click on it, remove. The second column, let's double click on the heading and we have this. It is stored in text format. Please convert this into a whole number. Don't forget this. This is the salesperson ID. Similarly, the salesperson name in this, we can easily split it by non-digit to digit because Rajesh Sharma is a non-digit and 081 is a digit. And this is the name and this is the employee ID. Very simple salesperson cleaning, right? Now, when I go to segmentation, everything looks fine to me. In zone, there's a problem. We have north here, but we have null here. So we are a little confused what to do. So we'll select this region, right click on that, and there's an option called fill and fill down. That's it. And then this N and W and everything is not capitalized. So right click, transform, capitalize each word. That's it. So whatever transformation you want to do, right click on the column and most of it is available here. So when you're learning, right, explore, right, explore what this means, what each and every item means, and that's the best way to learn. No, so distinct, unique, and everything will come only when you click on the view tab and click on column quality and column distribution. Okay, under the view tab, column quality and column distribution. Also, one very important thing is your column profiling should be based on the entire data set. Okay, don't forget that. Because I have less than 1000 rows, I'm able to do it normally, but under any circumstance, your column profiling should be based on entire data set, right? How I filled the null, right click, fill down. So whatever it was what, I filled it down. That's it. Clear? Great. So this is what my Power Query, you know, this is what the Power Query data cleaning look like, right? Now I'll tell you a few tips and tricks about Power BI, about Power Query, few hacks here. Okay, this is something which I use daily, so it's really really useful for me. I think even you will love it. Okay, so let's say you're dealing with a lot of columns. Now, let's say you want to, let's say your client has given you a data set which has 80 columns, for example, and you want to find one column. Now, one way to find it is this, you can just drag it right, left, and you can find. But that's not efficient. So what I will do is I will press the shortcut Control G. As soon as I press Control G, no, you'll get these columns here. These are the all the columns which are available. Now let's say I want to go to the column which is customer, let's say city. I will click on city and press OK, and it will move to the place where city is. So G for giraffe, okay, Control G to find the columns. Another really useful trick for Power Query is, let's say you are in the product data, okay. Now you're just exploring the data a little bit, and you see cycling. You want to filter it by cycling. Now one way is to go on top and filter for cycling like this, right? You'll filter for cycling like this and click OK. One way is that. Second way is select cycling, right click on it, text filters equals to. Okay, what did I do? Right click on cycling, text filters equals to, and once I did that, it's filtered. So it's a lot more efficient, right? So let's unfilter this. So I'm going to clear the filter and done. Now, once you're done with all of these steps, okay, I've checked all my data types, everything looks fine. Let's go to the home tab and let's apply it to the Power BI main report, right? This is the background. This is the back end of Power BI. I have told you the non-negotiables. Power Query is huge. Power Query has its own language called as M language, by the way. This formula bar here, this is M language, right? So very interesting. Data cleaning is a very important part. The better you clean your data, the better insights you gain. Always remember this. Fair enough? All right. So let me go to home tab and let me click on close and apply. Once I click on close and apply, it will move to the front end of Power BI, right? These are the front end of Power BI, and now the data is getting loaded in the front end, right? Now, once the data is loaded, on the right hand side, you will see all the tables appearing. All the tables are appearing on the right hand side here, right? Now, on the left side here, you have the report view. This is the place where the dashboard is built. This is the canvas for the dashboard. This is the table view. Like, let's say we want to see the customer table again. You don't want to get inside Power Query and see it here, right? So I'll click on the customer data. Product data will come product, salesperson, etc. Now, this is interesting. This is the model view. This is called as data modeling. This is called as data modeling or relationship modeling. This is the model view. Okay. Now, in this model view, you can see automatically a lot of relationships have been created. Okay. We're going to delete these auto relationships and we're going to create our own, right? And then you have a DAX studio. This is the place where you can write DAX queries. But today we are not going to use this DAX queries. We'll write DAX queries, but in a very simple way. Okay.
Anmol, sorry, can you please zoom it little bit? Because
Uh,
people are not able to see it clearly.
sure.
Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you.
guys. Let's do it once more. Okay. So how did I come here? I in the Power Query, I clicked on Home tab. I clicked on Close and Load, and then it moved to the front end of Power BI. Here we have the report view. This is the canvas where everything is built, like the dashboard. This is the table view, right? On the right hand side, you have all the tables. You can select whatever table you want, and that gets loaded right here, right? Now, if you see a little more on the left, below the table view, you have the model view. Okay. This model view, it's the model which is being created within Power BI, right? Now, what this does, this is used for data merging. Okay. So now the next thing we are going to do is this entire thing, right? These are all the tables which are available here. You have sales register, zones, products, segments, customers, and so on, right? And then you have the DAX studio here. This DAX studio, It's a great thing, but currently today we are not going to have the time to use it, and plus it's not required for now. For the non-negotiables, definitely not required. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to my um, report view, which is here. Okay, the first tab here. If you have a look, this is the report view. Now here, what I'm going to do is, let's take the products and let's take product category. Okay, these are all the product categories which are here. You can change the visual from a table to a matrix. Matrix works a lot better. Okay, and then now we will see how we can add things to the product category. For example, we want to see product category wise revenue. We want to see product category wise the quantity, right? So all of this will be required for getting. Now if you realize, product is a separate table, and all the data, like let's say, um, in the sales register you have the quantity. So if you want the revenue, what do you have to do? We have to multiply the price with the quantity, and then only we'll get the revenue. So how do you get all these things done, right? This is the next thing. So for that, we need to learn data modeling first. For that, we need to learn data modeling first. So let's go ahead and zoom this in and move to the model view. And what I'm going to do is I want to remove all of these relationships. So let me select all, delete. Don't worry, I'm just deleting what is already there. We will create a new one. Now, see, this is the sales register, right? This is the sales register. The sales register is a fact table. So fact table always is down. And then I will move my product to the top, the segment here. The zone is also on top. Salesperson is also on top. Customer is also on top. Here. The fact table will be down somewhere here. Okay. All right. Now, what is exactly data modeling? Now, I will keep toggling between the report view and the model view. Okay. So that I can explain data modeling in the best way possible. Let's get to product category. I want to see what is the quantity sold of the different product categories. What is the quantity sold of the different product categories? Now, these are all the product categories which are there in the product data, correct? This is there in the product data. The sales register, there is a different sheet, is having the quantity details. So I will click on quantity here and wait, hold on. So I will select this matrix and I will try to add quantity here. So add data, and I will try to add quantity from the sales register. Let's keep this a matrix itself. Okay. Now what do you see happening here? Am I getting the correct answers for quantity? Is archery, is all of them same quantity? No. All of them is not the same quantity. The reason why I'm getting the wrong answer is because the product table, the product table and the sales register, they are not connected to each other in any way. They don't have a way of talking to each other, right? So we need to make them talk. I will go to the model view. I'll go to the model view. What is the common column between sales register and product? Common column between sales register and product. Come on, guys. What is the column which is common between sales register and the product data? Product ID. Very good. So what I'll do is I will simply take product ID and drag it to the product ID here. Okay. I just took the product ID from here, dragged it to the product ID right here. And now I'm getting a dialog box that a new relationship is being created between, in the product table we have the product ID, in the sales register again we have the product ID. It's a one to many relationship. That means this product data, it has only unique values, and the sales register has multiple repetitions of the same product. That's what is called as a one to many, which is the best form of a relationship in Power BI, right? So all of this is fine. The cross filter direction always should be single, and you should always keep the relationship active. I will click on save, and now what you see is a line which is drawn. A line is drawn here, which tells me that the product data, the product data and the sales register are connected with each other, right? Now let's go to the report view and see if something has changed. Can you see the report view? If you see here, it's changing. You have all the quantities coming in properly because the product data is now linked with the sales register. Think of it like a VLOOKUP in Excel. This is called as data merging. And data modeling is the best way to merge any kind of complex data. Fair enough. So what I have done is I have linked product ID to this product ID. That's it, right? Now, whenever we are doing this, right, in the fact table, we are going to hide the product ID. Okay, there's a good practice. Always do this. We are going to hide the product ID here. Okay, and this product ID, no, this is a key column. This we can use for slicers later on. So we will select the table and we will mark it as a key column. Product ID is a key column here. Okay, product ID is a key column here, and we'll hide this product ID. Now once we hide the product ID in sales register here, right, if you see here in the sales register, we'll not be able to see product ID. Look here, in the sales register we'll not be able to see the product ID anymore. So let me unhide it. Product ID is available. If I hide it, it is not available, right? So make sure you are hiding the product ID in the fact tables, whatever is the many relationship. Wherever you have this, see, this is one, and this is many. Whenever you have many, wherever you have many, right? That's the place you need to hide the common column. Always. Clear, everyone? Now I'll quickly do this for all the other tables. Please just, uh, observe it. So product category with product category, save. The many is in this direction. So product category will be hidden here, and this product category will become the key column. Similarly, you have city, save, city will be hidden, and this will become the key column. Similarly, you have the salesperson ID with the salesperson ID, done. You have this salesperson ID, gone. Customer ID, save. So customer ID is linked here. This customer ID will be hidden. Now all my data is linked with the sales register. Okay. Now what this is effectively doing? Okay, what is this effectively doing? Think about it this way. Okay, let me take a highlighter. The data from product, whatever here. Similarly, whatever data is there in zone, it moves and gets added here. Similarly, whatever data is here, it moves and gets added here. So you have one single source of truth, which is the sales register. I hope you're getting the point.
Anmol.
Yes,
Yeah, people are asking reason for hiding.
I will come to that a little later on. That is a part of,
Okay, okay.
okay. So when I explain you visualization, guys, that time I'll tell you why exactly we have, removed these so that you'll be able to understand it very clearly, right? Okay. Okay, actually, let's quickly do it now since you're asking me. Let's finish that right now. So let's go ahead and um, remove salesperson ID from here so that we can see salesperson ID, and we want salesperson ID wise quantity sold, total quantity sold. Okay. Now I want to take salesperson ID from here. I want to take salesperson ID from salesperson, or will I take it from the sales register? That is the question. Okay. So sum of quantity. Okay. So I will take it from salesperson, or will I take it from sales register? Now what do you think? You will take the salesperson ID from salesperson or from sales register? Let's try taking it from sales register. Okay. Now sales register, right? Sales register. Okay. Now you took the sales register and now you'll get the answer because quantity is there in the same table as salesperson ID. Okay. Quantity is there in the same table as salesperson ID. Wait, hold on. Now if you see, this salesperson ID and this quantity is not the same table. But if I link this salesperson ID with any other table, with any other table's data, for example, if I want to get, let's say, the pricing of something, for example, can you see? Salesperson ID wise, I will never get any pricing, right? Now let's understand this a little more in detail. All the data, no, all the data, it flows downwards only. All the data is only flowing downwards. So when I choose the salesperson ID from here to take the data, this salesperson ID is already there here. So effectively, when we are choosing the salesperson ID here, right, we are effectively, because this is flowing down here any which ways, so we are effectively selecting it from the sales register itself. And the benefit of choosing it from here is it is linked with every other table also. Whereas this salesperson ID, this is not moving to any table. This is not moving to any table. All the data is flowing into sales register. This data is not flowing anywhere. I hope it's clear, right? Great, guys. So always use the dimension tables to you do everything in the visualizations. Never do it from the fact table because this fact table data does not move upwards. This is not moving upwards. Everything is moving downwards into this. Fair enough? All right. Okay. Now that we have done with the data modeling, right? Now that we have done with the data modeling, one one small thing is here. Now, if you have a look, we don't have anything for dates as such. We don't have anything for dates as such, and as a good practice, you always create something for dates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly get inside Power Query again. So under the Home tab, I'll click on Transform Data, and under the Transform Data, let's do a small see, generally we create rolling calendars, but since we have limited time, I'll tell you one easy way to do it. I'm going to duplicate the sales register. We are going to choose columns. I'm going to choose only the date. Okay, only the date. So now I have only the date. I'll remove the duplicates. Okay, I'll remove the duplicates, and then I have only 365 now. We have data from 1st of January till 31st of December 2023. And now I'll go to the add column, date, and I will select month. Again, I will select date. I will go to name of the month, right? So this is something which we create. We call it as a calendar. This is the calendar table. Okay, and we'll get to the home tab, close and apply. And once we close and apply, the calendar table also comes in. And this calendar table is available here. We'll take the sale date. We will link it here. Save. The sale date here becomes the key column. Sale date removes from here. This is so that we can apply a slicer very easily on months. Okay. Now there's one more thing which we have to do to this, which we will understand. So let's take month-wise data now. Okay, let's take month-wise data and see the quantity. So let's add data from the calendar. I will add month name. And can you see the month name is not coming in properly? It is not coming in order. And let's take quantity. Let's convert this back. Okay. Now if you see, the quantity is right. This is not wrong. Okay. If you see, it's different only, but it is not coming in order. right? So what you need to do to make it come in order? Okay. So in the table view, I will click on calendar table. This is really important. This is asked a lot in the interviews. Okay. So I will select the month name. I will select the month name. I'm in the table view right now. I'm in the table view. I've selected the calendar table. Okay. I've selected the calendar table here. In the month name, I will click on sort by column. You want to sort the month name by this month here. Okay. By month. And once you do that, that's the way where this should get updated anytime. And this is how you actually sort your month name properly. Okay. So go to the table view, click on month name, sort by which column do you want to sort the month name by? You want to sort it by this month, and that's the reason I added this month column in the Power Query altogether, right? So this is a really important step again. And if you look at the calendar table here also, if you see in the advanced options, if you see, month is sorted already. Sort by column is month, right? So this is another way to check it. All right. Now I hope you understood, why exactly we did the data modeling. It's so that the data points can talk to each other, the different tables can talk to each other. And the most important thing in data merging is we need to have common columns between them, right? Okay. Now we'll talk about a little bit about DAX so that we can calculate the total revenue here. Okay. Now, one basic DAX measure we will write. This is sum of quantity which we are getting directly, right? We have not written any DAX measure. This is an implicit measure which Power BI automatically provides. But we never use implicit measures. We always use explicit measures. Now, what is that? Now, first of all, I will create a new table so that I can manage my measures which I'm going to create. So always do that. So under the home tab, we have enter data. We have enter data under the home tab. And here, I'm going to name this as measures table. Okay, so we are going to write DAX measures now. So I'm going to name it as measures table and just click on load, simply load. And if you see, a measures table is created and added here. I'm going to right click on the measures table and click on new measure, right? And then let's call it as quantity. Let's zoom in and let's call it quantity. Now the syntax is very simple for DAX also, just like writing an Excel formula, equals to sum of which column? Sum of the quantity column. So I'll write quantity here. And if you see sales register quantity column automatically picks up, and I have sum of sales register quantity. And once I press enter, if you see quantity column is right here. This is the quantity. This is the sum of quantity. I can, this column one which was there, now I can remove it, delete from model. Now, this is a DAX measure way of calculating your quantity. So this is your implicit measure, right? What we did here. So let's quickly add this data, the same quantity column. It's going to give you the same answer. It's giving you the same answer. This one, no, this one, the first one. This was an implicit measure. This is an explicit measure using DAX. We always use explicit measures so that we can use this quantity somewhere else. For example, when we want to multiply price into quantity, we will not be able to use this. We will only be able to use this DAX measure, right? So that's the reason you always create explicit measures using DAX for any kind of calculations. DAX is data analysis expressions. It's like in Excel, you write formulas, right? Equals to VLOOKUP something something. In Power BI, you write DAX. That's it. It's simple formulas. It's not that complicated. The syntax is very, very intuitive in nature, right? Like I wrote sum of the quantity column. That's it, right? Okay. Now, guys, it's time to calculate revenue. See, we've seen a very basic DAX measure, and basic DAX measures like you can use count, you can use sum, you can use average, and all these things. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to teach you one DAX measure, and I'm going to teach you properly. Okay, we are going to learn how to calculate revenue, right? So let me go to table view, right? I'm in the table view now, and let's get to the sales register. And so we have two tables where using which we are going to calculate the revenue. One is the product table. Product table contains cost and price, right? And the sales register table contains the quantity. So what will be the formula for calculating the revenue? Come on, guys, tell me. What will be the formula for calculating revenue? Quantity into price, simple, right? Quantity into price and total cost. Total cost is quantity into cost. And how will we calculate profit? Profit? Profit is revenue minus cost. Simple, right? Okay. So let's quickly understand how we will do this, right? So let me add the pen. Okay. All right. Now, revenue. We will do this using quantity multiplied by price. Now, quantity is available in which table? Quantity is available in which table? Quickly, guys, quickly. Quantity is available in which table? Sales register table. So, quantity is available in the sales register table. And price is available in which table? Come on, price is available in the product table, right? So, what we need to do is we need to write some kind of a formula from where this price, no, it gets imported and gets multiplied with quantity, right? So that's the objective. Clear? So we have to somehow import the price, right? Great. So we are going to use a formula called as sum x. Sum x. Okay. And let's go ahead and see what it actually does. Oops, sorry. I think I closed it by mistake. Uh, Share screen. You're able to see my screen, guys?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. All right. Now, let's get to the measures table again. We are creating a DAX measure. Okay. So right click and new measure. Now our objective is to calculate revenue. Okay. Don't forget. So let me remove the writing pad. Let's get back the keyboard and measures table, right click, new measure. And here we go. So our objective is to calculate the revenue. Okay. Now revenue. So how do we write the DAX measures? We always write it in different rows so that it's easier to read. So I'll press shift enter to move down. Okay. I'm going to write sum x. Sum x. Let's understand the syntax also on the go. Okay. So sum x, right? Now the first thing what sum x is trying to ask us. Let's press shift enter. The first prompt it is giving us is which table do you want to first refer to? Okay. So first I want to refer to the sales register table. First I want to refer to the sales register table. Now it is asking me expression like what do you want to do in the sales register table? which column do you want from there, or what kind of expression do you want, like what is the formula you want to do in sales register. So in sales register, what do I want to do? I want to take the column quantity. I want to take the column quantity and multiply it with the price, multiply it with the price, but price I'm not getting directly. I'm not getting the price directly, right? I'm not getting the price directly. So what I will do is I will use another formula called as related. Now related will use the data modeling and import the price column from the product register into the sales register so that I can multiply it with the quantity. Cool. So in the related, now I'll put the column name price. Price is there in the product table. And let's close the bracket for sum x and now press enter. So now let's quickly, let me break down this formula a little bit more for you. Okay. So for revenue, we had to do quantity from the sales register into price from the products table, right? Now sum x asks you for which table do you want to perform the calculation in, which is your main table where you want to perform the calculation in. The main table was the sales register. Then the second prompt it gave us was what is the expression. The expression was simple, quantity into price. The expression was simple, quantity into price. But quantity was where? In the sales register, you had the quantity column multiplied by, in the products table, you had the price, right? Now, products table is having price, but it can't directly import it. So you use another function called as related. So that's how this formula is made. Very, very intuitive and simple. This is just like how Excel formulas are. So sum is to sum up one column. If you want, let's say in Sham, if you use Excel, you will know the difference between sum if and sum. So sum x is when you want to extend a formula, when you want to put a formula and add it up. And sum is when you want to add up one single column. All right. Now, since we've done this, our revenue calculation is done. Now, can you guys tell me how will my cost calculation look like? What will be the difference in the formula for cost, for calculating cost? So I'll write the same formula, okay? I will write the same formula. And instead of revenue, let's name it as cost. What will be the change in the formula? Come on, come on. What will be the change in the formula? Let's write it once more. So revenue I've written already. Cost also is the same thing, but I'll just explain it once more so that you understand it in detail. Okay. So cost equals to sum x. Okay. Now sum x, the first expression says that what table are you referring to? I am referring to the sales register table. I am referring to the sales register table. Okay. Now it is asking me what is the expression? That means what formula do you want to put in the sales register table? I want to multiply quantity. Okay, I want to multiply quantity, sales register quantity. I want to multiply this with what? I want to multiply it with products price which is available in the products table. Now for that purpose, we have to use another formula for importing that price from the products table into the sales register. We have to use related, and we will use price here. Very simple. I hope it's clear now, right? So let me enter this. Oh, this is price only. We have to actually change it to cost. So I'll change it to cost. Enter. And now finally, if I have to calculate the profit, what do I do? In the measures table, a new measure, and a profit formula will be revenue minus cost. Cost. Wait 1 minute. Why am Let's add a new measure. I think I added a new column by mistake. So I'll add a measure, and this is it. Okay. So by mistake, I've added a new column here. So let me delete that from the model. So always when you're selecting a measure, right? So you have to right click, new measure always, not new column. Okay. So let's rename this to cost only and press enter. So these are the measures which I've created: cost, profit, and revenue. Now profit. Profit will be revenue minus the cost. Simple. And I'll press enter. Now let's come here. And now let's see um, month wise the revenue, the cost, and the profit. So month I already have here. And now let's remove these quantity. Let's take the measures table. Let's add revenue, quantity, profit. So this is how this entire thing works. If you want to go ahead and change the formatting of it, you can do that. You can just select, let's say, revenue. Okay. And on top here, you will see that you can change the format to a proper currency. And once you do that, you see all the dollars and everything appearing. You can change the currency and everything also if you want. You can keep it none as well. You can keep it general, best. Okay. All right. So this is how you can do the formatting as well. Just click on the measure and go on top. You will have all the formatting options, whichever is available. Right. Now, let me take 5 more minutes before I open this for questions to just quickly visualize this and show you how I would visualize only this part of data. Okay, that is very important. I'll tell you how easy visualization is. And we need to not focus much on that. We need to focus on the background more, because if your background, if your foundation is solid, no, this is a piece of cake. Okay, let me show you how easy it is. So let me go ahead, remove all of these things, and let's choose a line chart, a nice line chart for this. This is the line chart which is really representing whatever I need here. Okay, so this is your revenue. Now, I want to slice and dice this based on different things. For example, I want to know which salesperson did how much revenue. So I will insert a slicer. So let me get outside. I will insert a slicer here. So I have a slicer, and in this slicer, let's add product segment. Let's add segment here. Okay. Let's say I want segment wise. Okay. So I have segment wise. Let's remove the blanks from here. All right. Now this is segment wise revenue. Just have a look. I can really play around. For sports equipment, this is how the revenue trend looks like, and etc. etc. Right? Now this is just revenue, right? Now what if, see, this is a slicer. This is the basic slicer. Okay. Now this is a segment. This is a revenue here. Now what if I want it by cost or profit? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the modeling tab. This is a very interesting and important thing which we have here in Power BI. Okay, we'll go to the modeling tab. I click on new parameter, go to fields. Okay, and name this as, let's say, para 1. And what type of fields do I want? I want revenue, I want cost, I want profit. Okay, I put the three measures here. I've clicked on the add slicer to the page and click on create. Now a new slicer has been added called as para 1. Okay, now I'll go to this visual here, this line chart here, and let me go ahead and remove revenue from here and add this para 1 instead. Okay, now if I want to I want to check out the revenue of sports equipment. I can see revenue sports equipment. If I want to check out the cost of sports equipment, if I want to check out the profit of cost equipment. Similarly here, if I want to check out the, sorry, if I want to check out the profit. So you're seeing how interactive this is. A user is able to, with one single chart, he's able to get so much information. He's able to get segment wise revenue, cost, and profit in different clicks. That's it. And all the, beautiful things which you see in dashboards, no, it's all just formatting. So if you see formatting, you will learn only by exploring. So how do you format anything? So you click on the chart, right click on format, and on the right hand side you'll have formatting options. So you don't want the title, remove it. You want the title, keep it. Something you want to do with the x-axis, you can. Something you want to do with the y-axis, you can. Something you want to do with the lines, these lines, you can do that. You want to change the color, you can. You want to convert them into dashed, you can. Right? If you select all three, if you clear all three will get selected. See. But if you want specifics, you can. Again, right? So this is the power of slicers, and this is the power of all this, modeling. Under the modeling, we did a parameter. No, this is a parameter, and this parameter also, you can remove the slicer header. Like you can really make it look really, really nice. See, I can make it tiles also. I'll show you visually how really, we can make it look really good. Tile. Just look at this. You can change colors and everything also. This also you can make it tiles. So revenue, cost, etc., etc. And let's say, for example, you want it like this. How I would, probably place it is place this here, okay, and place all the other slices here like business segment, all these things, profit, okay, great, revenue, great. So this is how I would, go ahead and, work around my data. Like, see, whatever dashboards you're creating, no, that is not based on what you feel right. Never. Whatever dashboard you're creating, whoever is the end users are generally top management of different companies, top executives. You'll have to sit with them. You'll have to actually, so what I do, as a practice, as a practicing person here in Power BI, what I do is I create a blank page altogether. Let me show you. So how we do it is, let's say I sit with that person. Let's say I tell him that this is the canvas. What are the data points? I ask him this question. What are the data points which will help you make decisions? So he'll be like, Anmol, I want a trend of revenue first. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, all right. So revenue trend I will give you. Then what do you want? You're like, I want how many total customers are there, how many total products are there. Like let's say 130 customers are there, 10 products are there, how many segments are there. I want all of that in tiles, right? Then he'll ask, I want the top 10, customers. So I'm like, okay, this is the top 10. I want top 10 product segments. I want top 10 this, I want top 5 that. So he will tell me what he wants and I will draw it here. I will actually draw it and show him, okay, this is the kind of dashboard which we will create. This is the kind of things you will need. And that's how my first draft comes out. And once this is done, only then we move forward with any kind of work. We start collecting the data after that. That's how initial this uh, you know conceiving your end result is. Because once you've conceived your end result, then you'll know what data points you need. Unnecessary data points you will not keep, right? If the person says, if the person says that I need to know inventory data also here, I need to know DRR, let's say. Okay. If DRR is daily run rate, let's say he says that, so I will collect inventory data, right? If he says that, okay, I don't want customer data, so I will not collect it. Simple. So these things are very important in understanding a Power BI. So the process goes like this: you visualize the end product with the end user, you start brainstorming what data will be required, you get that data, you check for the accuracy, for the completeness of that data, you move ahead and you understand what data sets you have received, you go ahead and clean that data in Power Query, you create relationships with that data set between each other so that they can talk to each other, you go ahead and create DAX measures so that your multiple values can come into the picture, like revenue, cost, etc. And then you go ahead and do the visuals based on what your client requires. So this is the practice which I have been following. So I hope you've been able to understand what we have done here. And now the class is open for questions. So please go ahead. Thank you so much. It was wonderful teaching you guys.
I would like to request everyone to ask a question, whatever they want to ask. They can put up their question in Q&A session, and please fill out our feedback form as well. I think feedback form is visible to everyone, so kindly fill it out and do write your questions as well. So Anmol, there is a question: difference between cost and revenue DX formula.
So revenue and cost is exactly same. It's just that in revenue I multiplied quantity with price, and in cost I multiplied quantity with cost. That's the only difference. Everything else, the entire concept remains the same. You want to publish this? So there's an option here. Go to the home tab. Under the home tab, can you see publish option here? If you click on publish here, it'll ask you, do you want to first have to save all these things? Okay. So save it,
Uh,
and then you'll be able to publish this data. I just answered from the chat box somewhere. Okay. Please go ahead, please.
okay, okay. Guys, please fill out the forms and write your questions.
Deepika, to be honest, Python nowadays I just use Chat GPT to write my Python codes. I mean, I just check it. I just what I do with what maximum I do with Python is I check for any kind of inaccuracies. I put the correct column names. I'll see if there is any way I can make it more efficient. That's it. The majority of the writing is done by Chat GPT itself. Power BI is a free software. Power BI. Um, so if you go to the Microsoft Store here, if you go to Microsoft Store, there you can download Power BI Desktop. That is free. But publishing is also free. But if you want to share that and collaborate with your team members or anybody, that is the paid version.
There's a question, Anmol. What are the most common interview questions that employer ask to a fresher and an experienced person?
Okay, see, for a fresher, I think it is very important that whatever we have done today, right? The entire thing will prepare you. So this is all a non-negotiable in Power BI. Okay, these are the basic things that you need to know for moving forward. So whatever I have done today, those are the things which they generally ask in the Power BI interviews. They will ask you a little bit of Power Query. They will not ask you, for a beginner, they will not ask M code anything. They will probably give you some data sets to clean, like how do you split the columns, etc., etc. That is something which they ask. They will ask you about unique and distinct values. right? They will give you a data set where you have to identify the duplicates and remove them and make sure that there are no duplicates. They will ask you about fact tables and dimension tables, right? And then they will ask you why exactly do you go ahead and do the data modeling, and why is it important? Wait 1 minute. And why is it important to, actually go ahead and hide these, make these key columns? And I told you about another thing, right? That in the calendar table, this month name was there. We sorted this by month. So these things they check. These things are very important, because it's okay that your knowledge is limited as a beginner, because as a recruiter, I know that if your foundation is strong, I can build a very strong building on that. And those are the things I covered today. And for experts, majorly what happens is they test on M query. Okay, M query is the form I showed you in the formula bar in Power Query. That is M language, right? So very basic M language. That is something which they ask. The second thing, like, data models don't actually look like this in real world. If you want to see a real world data model, I can show you actually. Wait. Uh, I think where is that? I think I recently posted it on LinkedIn. Wait, I have it here, right here. So if you see, this is what I had posted very recently. Let me zoom in. This is how a data model actually looks like. Can you see this? And this is actual data model. So when you talk about data model, no, there is star schema, there's snowflake schema, there is a lot other schemas. There's Kimball's, direction in which the data modeling should be done. So they ask a lot of those questions to experts. And experts, I mean, people who have significant experience, like 5 to 6 years. They are the ones who are supposed to know this. Then they ask a lot about DAX. Okay, DAX is something which, if somebody is going to take an interview for me, they're going to fill me up with DAX completely. And visualization, not so much. But visualization, something like an error bar, that they might ask me. So yes, these are the questions which, generally people ask.
And another question is, if there are crores of records, then what thing we need to keep in mind?
So you need to make sure your optimization is right. Okay. See, if there were crores of records, no. Few things I would do differently is, like you remember, I created a calendar table here. I created a calendar table here. How did I create this? I created a duplicate of the sales register and then I did it. Right. Now I'll just explain you what happened there. Let's go on query dependencies and let me zoom in here. Okay. If you have a look, this sales register is appearing twice here. I mean, it's taking twice the space. So if it had a lot of data, then I would create the calendar in a different. I would create a rolling calendar using mQuery so that that data space is saved. That is one other thing which I would do. So I would do everything in my power to optimize this completely. Okay, and you don't generally require, like, what this has been my experience with, not just Indian clients but in Middle East and US. They have lots of data, no doubt, but you don't need everything. They don't need all that data to make a decision. So what I generally do is I try and solve the problem upstream. Upstream as in, let's say we are pulling the data from the ERP. I only pull in the data which is required. That's it. Or let's say if I have to write SQL queries for this, I write SQL queries in such a way that only the data which is required gets pulled in, and the heavy lifting is done by SQL or anything else, any other tool. And then I pull the data into Power Query so that the heavy lifting part is not done by Power BI, right? So that's how I handle a large data set.
Yeah. And Harish is asking, what is the impact of Power BI in this era of AI? Is Power BI still be used for next few years? Is it worth spending time on learning the advanced level on it?
Um, See, this is a question which nobody can answer, to be honest, because at the rate at which, see, everybody thought that, I mean, this I read today only on LinkedIn, that everybody thought that ChatGPT is going to take our jobs, but now DeepSeek has taken ChatGPT's job, right? So the market is very unstable currently. But talking about, but what, generally what ChatGPT and DeepSeek, what their capabilities are, if you give them proper structured data, they will give you visuals, they will give you everything. But you need human experts to deal with complicated data even today. Like chat gpt will not go ahead and do this, not in its wildest dreams with the current level, neither deepseek neither chat gpt. So for this you need a human expert. For understanding the flow of data you need a human expert. For optimizing this you need a human expert as of now. So for the next few years I see a, I mean I am bullish on power bi because there are two reasons. One is I am into power bi, so I don't have anywhere else to go, so I have to be bullish. And second is I am actually bullish because it cannot do this work. So
So, okay. Another question is, can we change a wrong data in the Power BI? I mean, in the data source?
so data source you can, so let's say if this was the excel we have, right? Now if there is wrong data you will go here and change it, great, right? But the problem is you will not have any kind of track that you have changed something here. So it's a very dangerous thing, like somebody can create, commit a fraud by doing that. So the other option is inside power query, inside power, this power query, what I would do is I would right click, I would click on replace values, right? And that's why I can replace that particular item which I need to change. So the record will be created here so that we will know who has done it, why something has been done. So that audit trail needs to be maintained. And being a chartered accountant, for me, audit trails are very, very important. Okay.
So, Gaurang is asking, how do we clean the data in sales register once we remove duplicate from product table, but the removed product ID is present in sales register?
Great. So this is a great question. So now what I'll just explain this question to all of you. So we removed some product IDs here, and there could be sale in those product IDs in the sales register, right? That's what is the question, right? I mean, if I'm not wrong. So in the product ID, we removed some duplicates, and that same could have been sold here, correct? So we'll have to do some changes in the sales register also. We'll have to so this is called as data normalization. I didn't bring it up here because it was not my data set did not have that, but this is called as data normalization, where we go ahead and make sure that all the product IDs which had the duplicates are now only one. Okay, so we'll have to create a separate table for duplicates. We'll have to do a data merging into this and normalize this. So a complete normalization process is done for that. Great question, this is the best of the lot.
Okay, so Sashi is asking, how can I visualize top five customer?
uh, let's do it for Sashi. So I'll click on insert. I will click on, let's say, a clustered bar chart. Okay, so we have this clustered bar chart, and let's add in the y-axis, the customer names, let's say. Let's add in the x-axis revenues. You can, the top, it can be top five revenue, top five, profit, anything. So I go to my measures table, I will put in the revenue. So all the customers are here. All the customers are here. Now I will open the filter pane. Okay, I will open the filter pane, and in this I will select revenue, and revenue I will go ahead and sorry, in the customer name, let's do top n. Yes. So I'll go to the customer name, my bad, and I'll do top n and I'll do top five. So top five by what? Top five by revenue. And then I'll click on apply filter. And now I have only the top five customers by revenue. Similarly, you can do this for profit, for cost, etc. etc.
Yeah, so Shri Hari is asking, is there anything like if I click on a column in data panel in the report view, will it navigate to the component created from the column in the report?
Column in the report. You're okay. I get where he's coming from. So let's say you want to click on something and you want to go back to this report view where what kind of data was used for that. There's a drill through method in Power BI, so you can explore that for this.
Okay.
Currently, drill through method will take a lot of time to explain, so that's why I'm telling him that he needs to explore drill through method.
Okay, and People are asking which version of Power BI you are using.
So when you use this when you download it from the Microsoft Store, you get the latest version and the updates are automatic. So always get it from the Microsoft Store here. It's free.
And how can we publish the result to the others online?
Click on the home tab, click on publish, okay, and it's asking me to save and everything. So let's save it, and let's save it as demo. The Wait, hold on. So let me save it as browse desktop save. Sometimes Power BI behaves really bad. Yeah, I've saved it. Now I'll get a publish option here. Now I will put in my email ID and everything, and automatically it gets published. I'll show you some published options here. So you can just put in your email ID, a Microsoft email ID, and you'll be able to publish it.
Okay, and last question is this password protected? Can we have access limited to other user who I am going to share this dashboard with?
See, there is something called as row level security, which is there when you publish the data as well, right? So that is one. And plus, you can use this under the modeling tab. You can use this manage roles. So there are two ways in which. So first, you'll have to manage these roles from here under the modeling tab. And let's say you have four salesperson. You want only those four salesperson to not see the entire data. Only their related data you have to make them see, right? So you'll click on manage roles and you'll do the managing of roles. And then when you publish the data, you will go to the row level security. And in that row level security, you'll be able to share only their part of the data to them in their email IDs. But that is a paid feature of Power BI. That is called as Power BI service.
Yeah, actually, one more question left.
Please go ahead.
In Power Query, how green validation comes?
Green validation. Under the view tab, you click on the column distribution and column quality. That's how you get it. This is what I hope you were asking. The person was asking. If I'm wrong, you can re-ask the question.
Yeah, you. I think he's asking this only. Yeah. Okay, then I think we are like, thank you so much, Anmol, for sharing your expertise with us today. And thank you, everyone who attended this workshop. We hope you are leaving with new skills to transform your data into powerful insight. Have a wonderful day ahead, everyone. And thank you so much, Anmol, once again.
Thank you, Preeti, for having me. It was great to be here and interact with so many students. And thank you so much, all of you, for all the response and all the learning. And I had a great time. I hope you had a great time too. And let's stay connected. And thank you so much, guys. I will see you. A very good night to all of you. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye, guys.